Hey y'all, it's Melissa from Sexy Hippies, and I'm going to show you how I use Illustrator to create flyers for promotion, as well as all of the different images and graphics that are on our bio. So here I am at the very beginning of a new Illustrator file, and I've hit create new over here on the side. I'm just going to go with something square for now, I guess. Why not? First thing that comes up. Doesn't really matter. We can change this at any time. So what this is an artboard that they've created for us, and here's just white and blank and boring. If we want to back up and see it in relationship to the rest of the Illustrator file, we can just hit Control and minus, and then we want to come back, Control plus. So no matter how detailed you want to be or how wide you want to be, you will have that option. So let's go ahead and get started. When I'm creating any sort of graphic, I like to have layers of texture. So what I'm going to do is just take this artboard and draw a square over it exactly over the artboard itself. And I just did that by clicking on the square tool and then clicking on the left mouse button and dragging from this upper left hand corner to the bottom right hand corner. I want to put a color in there, so I'm just going to come over here with my little eyedropper tool. You can also just come over here with your pointer tool, which is the very top left. Just start clicking on stuff. I'm in the color panel. If you don't see that, come up to Window and check out Workspace, and then go to Essentials. And you should be able to see all of these things that I have open here. You mess around with it till you like your colors. I can kind of dabble my dropper over here in this side, or I can actually double click the right under the word swatches, and you can drag this friend around to whatever color you want. Also, there's the option of gradients, which you control down here on the right hand side. You just have to make sure your gradient panel's open, and you can kind of play with it. If you have further questions, I'll do a more detailed tutorial in the future, but in general, let's just leave the gradient. It's kind of cute. All right, so once you have decided on a color, whatever that ends up being, you can come over here with your text, which is the T, and you draw like a square, some sort of, whatever. And we're gonna go ahead and put my bio, and we want to size that so we can see it. So I'm gonna take my cursor and highlight that text over here in the character panel. I should be able to change the font. I recommend going up to this tool often, the selection tool, and bringing in the edges of your elements so that they fit really well, because if you're going to be moving a lot of things around on your artboard, it's going to start getting cluttered. So you have your bio, and maybe you want to create some other text, like about me. I'm going to go back up here. I like to size all my things right away. And we'll put another little text box in there. I actually like the black text better here. Let's say we want to make those a little smaller. I just triple clicked on that with my selection tool, and then hit Control A to select all of the text within there. And then I'm just gonna come up here and kind of size it differently. If I want to change how it's oriented, I come over here to Paragraph, and I can just click to make it centered like that. I'm feeling like this. Let's say, you know what? None of this is working for me font wise. I'm now hitting down the Shift key to highlight all three of those with my selection tool. So we're gonna come over here. Let's make it more dramatic. I don't know. Maybe it's not punchy enough. There we go. Maybe we want it Oh, I kind of like that. All right, and you can right click. Then you can left click over there and deselect everything. Now, next big thing you're going to want to do is insert a photo. So you're going to go up to File and Place. Oops, sorry. What I recommend doing before you get started is creating a folder where you're going to be working. You're going to be saving this file. You're going to be saving your assets there. Your assets are all of the little photos that you're going to be working with that you might be importing into your project. So we will start with, I don't know, something silly and ridiculous. This is Jason and I. And I know I'm going to probably want to bring in some advertising and some warnings. So let's start with that DMCA logo down here. Keep going up to File and placing the things that you're going to want to put in there. There's a little Snapchat icon. There's Pornhub. And we'll just kind of move these around as we see fit. How about get me some presents? All right, so now we have all these things we can select. We understand how we can move our text around. And we're going to maybe make this just look a little bit more interesting. So some tips I have really quick are to maybe double up your layers or to kind of put background images around things. So now you see I've covered that up with a new square. But I just want to give it a color I like that's going to kind of go with the photo that I'm trying to show off. And then I'm going to, so I picked black there. And I'm going to go up to my selection tool, then right click here, and I'm going to send it backward, which is actually a control bracket. So we're going to control bracket that till it goes back where it's now behind the photo. And you can work with centering it and things like that. Now, if I want to continue to have headings that are exactly the same size and exactly the same font, so I don't have to keep on changing all my different elements, all I have to really do is click here, About Me, and push the Alt key down. Then drag basically it's made a copy, and I'm going to drag it over somewhere else on my photo. And I'm going to deselect with my mouse, then remove my finger from Alt. And now I've duplicated that. And I can just simply double click inside the box and I can say, you know, something like rules. Then I can duplicate these facts and just turn them into rules. So I'm gonna click, hit Alt, drag, unclick, undo Alt. And I can continue to move these text elements around and sort of shift and change things up in order to make my flyer or my block that I'm going to be putting on my bio more interesting. So that's a general idea of just how you insert and how you work with text and how you work with colors and how you work with boxes. One other thing I've got to say is that sometimes it can be nice to like make things look a little more interesting. So besides just putting a background, we can put, oh my goodness, I'm picking really ugly colors today. Maybe then you'll remember this. So we're gonna arrange and send this backward. Remember, it's control and bracket, the open bracket. Okay. So I personally really like to do things that are kind of cute to some of my shapes. And I'll come down and I will find in the effects panel, I'm going to go to stylize. I'm going to round my corners. I really like rounded corners. I think they're cute. That was only 10. I want to round some more. So let me undo that. I'm going to go to effect again, stylize, round the corners. Let's do 40. Ooh, that's very noticeable. And what I also like to do when I make layers is that I like to do drop shadows. I kind of like drop shadows on everything. So I'm going to actually come up to this part of my bio too, and I'm going to do the same thing. Stylized drop shadow. I just went with the standard. Now what that did was add shadow behind the white parts. So you may, that may not work when you're doing a gradient. But as you can see right here, I added some rounded corners and I added drop shadow. You may want to consider doing things like that. You can also check this tool out right here and click the teeny tiny little arrow that you see below the rectangle, and you can draw other shapes like ellipses, polygons, stars, things like that. So let's draw a star. Boom. Oops. Let's draw a star here, and we are going to we want to orient it differently, right? We want to, first of all, we want to bring it back. So let's bring it back behind that Amazon logo there. And let's say we want the star to be differently oriented. We're going to come over here with our selection tool. This is a V tool until we see this little, I don't know what you call it, hook show up. And I'm just going to simply left click my mouse and drag it around until I have it where I like it. I'm gonna do what I always do, which is add a drop shadow. Gotta love it. I feel like it makes things look a lot more interesting. So yeah, I tend to put a shape behind almost every single piece of text, as well as logos and different things like that. But yeah, I would, style it up, add the text that you like, and then basically what you're gonna do is export it as, and you're gonna name it bio part 1, for example. We're gonna come out here, put it in this folder. We only have one artboard, but normally I have many artboards. So we're gonna click use artboards, range 1. We're gonna get used to that because we want to export everything. As you can see, this is a PNG. It's transparent. We have parts that are white, so we have parts that are going to be completely see-through on this particular color. I can always change that background color anytime I want. But we're going to go ahead and export that. And that would be it. From there, you would upload that photo that you just made to some sort of hosting site. And then you would go into your Chaturbate HTML area and you would input that there. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to put this photo into your Chaturbate bio. Thanks for watching.